Hello friends, welcome to day 3 of our 12 days of Christmas video series. In this video, I'm joined by somebody very special. This is Manny. She is the other half of Made by Manny and Mal, if you didn't already know. In today's video, we're going to be making a Christmas themed wreath.
We're using a little wire wreath frame, and we're using some Deco mesh and a cute little red truck plaque for the center.
Yeah, so this is going to be a really easy wreath to put together. It looks harder than it is for sure, but I think Manny's a pretty good teacher. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you do, make sure you give it a big ol' thumbs up and make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. We are uploading a video every single day for the first 12 days of December, so there is lots more to come. Make sure you are subscribed, and if you want to get notified when we upload a new video, make sure you hit that bell notification icon as well. Anything else?
Sounds good. Let's go.
Okay, let's go. We're starting with an 8-inch wreath form that she got at the craft outlet. It will be linked down below. And we're going to first start by cutting the backing of the wreath. So this is what we're going to use at the very end to kind of finish the whole thing off. And this is just a big piece of red felt that she got at Joann's. So she's going to hold the wreath form onto the felt and use a Sharpie to just trace around the edge. And then we will cut it out with scissors and set it aside for the very end.
So now I just want to make sure that it's the right size and it fits, and we're good to go. So these are the 4 Deco mesh rolls that I decided to use for this wreath. They're all 10 inches wide. So what we're going to do is cut 10-inch squares so that we can make little ruffle bundles that we will apply to the wreath. So there are a couple of ways that we can cut the 10-inch squares to use for the wreath. First is this rotary cutter, and this is not my preferred method, but I'll show you. And what you need to do is go to there's these little squares, and you need to go follow that line. It looks like you're going a little wonky, but at the end you will have a straight edge. So this helps to eliminate some fraying when you're making your ruffles. So now you can see we have a straight edge. Perfect. Love it. So my preferred method to cut this Deco mesh is a wood burner. Now this little wood burner I picked up at Walmart, very inexpensive and very easy to use. But you have to be careful, that tip gets really, really hot. Okay, so what we're going to do now is lay down this piece of glass. It's a tempered piece of glass to prevent anything from happening to your mat. And we're going to measure now 10 inches. I'm going to take the wood burner and run down the same little seam that we did on the other one. Looks like we're going crooked, but we're actually getting a straight edge.
Make sure that when you're doing this, you have a window open or that you're in a really well ventilated area. If you have a mask or a respirator or something you can wear, this does give off a pretty nasty fume. It smells pretty bad, and it can be pretty toxic. So just like epoxy, make sure you're following all of the safety protocols to protect yourself, your family, your kids, your pets, all that good stuff. So you can see as she's cutting here, it does it's like smoking a little bit because it does get really, really, really super hot. So just make sure you're really careful, protect your fingers, don't, wood burn yourself. Just be very careful as you're using this. You can see it looks like she's cutting really crooked, but because she's staying in that kind of same square line, this line is going to come out straight and be perfectly cut. So you're just going to repeat this process until you have as many squares as you need. So for this wreath, she cut out 10 squares of each of the mesh that we're using, so 40 squares total, and she ended up making 20 bundles and using about 19 of them. So now she's going to cut the ribbon. We have 2 different types of ribbon, or 2 different patterns of ribbon. They're both 2.5 inches wide, and they're both wired ribbon patterns, just like we did in the last wreath. So she's going to cut a few strips of each ribbon at about 11 inches long, dovetailing the ends, of course. And then once everything is cut, we're going to bundle these together. I think she cut about 6 bundles. And so she's taking each pattern, one of each pattern, and just laying them on top of each other. just to map out kind of how many bundles she's going to have and get ready to actually put them together.
After I've sorted them and put them together, I'm going to cinch them in the middle, and then I'm going to put a pipe cleaner around them and twist that in the back, and then I'll have my little bundles for the wreath. Okay, so now that the ribbons are ready, we're going to start on the ruffles. We'll lay out a little square, then we'll start scrunching from the side to the other side, right down the middle. And once that's done, we're going to hold it together with my little chip clip. That'll keep that cinched and ready for the next one. So now we'll do the red ruffle, same way, lay it flat, and then just cinch and scrunch from one side to the next. Once that's completed, we're going to put those together using a pipe cleaner. So once I've finished the second one, I grab the first one, and then I'm going to crisscross them one on top of the other and kind of cinch them together, and then apply the pipe cleaner. I twist it in the back, make it really tight, and then you'll have the little ruffle ready to go.
And once you have your ruffles secured, of course, you definitely, absolutely need to loof it and floof it. And then for the second ruffle, she's going to take the other two patterns and put those together. So you'll just want to pair your deco mesh together. If you wanted to mix and match them, you totally could go that way. You just want to make sure that you have 20 ruffles of two of your squares put together. So we cut 40 squares. We ended up with 20 ruffle bundles. And once you've got all your bundles put together, you will be ready to actually put them on the wreath.
So we're going to find this little wire bar, and that's where we're going to start putting the ruffles. And I'm going to use the two bottom rings of that metal frame, and you just kind of feel your way, and then you will zip and tuck and twist until it's
What? Zip and tuck and twist.
Okay, so now we're going to put the second ruffle on, and we're going to put it on right next to the first one using the bottom two rings. You'll be placing the pipe cleaner around the bottom two rings and then twisting in the back until it's tight. And you'll continue to do this, alternating each bundle, every other pattern, until that bottom ring is complete.
And we're going to do 2 rows of ruffles on this wreath. So once you're done with that outer row, you'll move in to the inside row. So you're going to do the same exact process. You're going to attach the pipe cleaners to the 2 rings, but for this one, you're going to use that same middle ring and then the inside ring. So you're going to have all of your ruffles essentially will be attached to that middle ring of the wreath somehow. This is going to help with the volume of your wreath, make it look really thick and full, and really just make it look pretty nice.
Make sure you loof and floof as you go all the way around that wreath. I'm going to really secure those ruffles on by using some zip ties, just because I want to make sure those ruffles don't move and they're exactly where I put them initially. And this will help prolong the life of those ruffles anyway, just to keep them secure.
So what she's doing is basically taking the zip tie and just zip tying the entire ruffle bundle to the wreath around the pipe cleaner and everything. It's just kind of reinforcing where she originally put them down with the pipe cleaners.
So I'm applying zip ties to both rows of the ruffles that I applied with the pipe cleaners. I'm just going to secure them again with zip ties, and I'm going to pull those tails all the way to the back so I can cut them with some wire cutters to make everything look good back there.
So once all of the mesh is secured onto the wreath, we're ready to apply this little centerpiece. This super cute Christmas truck is from Hobby Lobby, and she did drill some holes in the bottom tire areas. There was already a hole in the top. So we're doing the exact same technique that we did in the fall wreath that we made a couple weeks ago. She's going to take this picture hanging wire from Walmart and just lace it through those holes. And then just twist around to secure it, and she's going to do that with every single hole. So we're going to have 3 pieces of wire around this truck.
So once I have this truck all wired up and ready to go, I'm going to attach it to the wreath by poking those wires through the little wire rings of the wreath. And each one, I'm going to do all 3 at one time so I can get it centered. I'll pull those all the way through to the back, and then I'll be able to play with it and make sure that it's where I want it to be. Once it's where I want it, I will wrap those little wires around the rings of the wreath to secure it tightly and make sure it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, so she's going to not attach the wire like to itself. In the last wreath that we made a few weeks ago, the fall one, we wrapped the wires around each other, like twisted those together. But for this, since this is a wire wreath form, she can just take that picture hanging wire that's attached to the truck and wrap it around the metal wreath form itself. So we don't have to attach the wires to each other. Hopefully that makes sense.
So once that little truck is secured, I'm going to rearrange some of the mesh around it, and then I'm going to start applying the bundles of ribbon. And you're going to apply those bundles the same way you apply the ruffles. You have to go around the rings of the wire frame and secure that pipe cleaner in the back. And you just start wherever you want to start with that first little ribbon bundle, and then you're going to space it accordingly to whatever you like. And then you just keep going until they're all on there the way you like them.
So yeah, you can put as many of these little ribbon bundles as you would like. You can go every ruffle bundle, you add a ribbon bundle. You can just add a few sporadically around the wreath. This is where you can really get creative and have some fun and add as much or as little as you would like to add.
So I obviously started with one bundle in the upper left corner, and then I didn't really have a pattern. I just went where I thought it really needed it, or to accent something, or to fill in. Basically used it as a filler, and then just whatever was pleasing to my eye is where I went with it, and then I stopped when I didn't think I needed it anymore. Now that I've finished with all the ribbon, I'm going to add my embellishments. Christmas wreath always needs a little more Christmas themed embellishments. So I have some pine cones, I have some holly berries, I have some white berries, I have these cute little rustic jingle bells that I also decided to attach to this wreath, and I'm using Gorilla hot glue sticks to get everything on there securely. Hopefully it will last a long time. So again, I'm just placing these wherever I think they need to fill in or where they need to be accented. No real pattern or design, just putting them on where I think they need to go to fill everything in.
So once all of the little embellishments have been added, we're going to add a pipe cleaner to the back to serve as our little hanger. So she's going to take one end of the pipe cleaner and just lace it through that top ring of the wire wreath form. And then she's going to tie a knot with the pipe cleaner to make sure it's really secured on there and that it's not going to fall off, so that the wreath will like fall off your door. So she's going to do one little knot and then do another knot, and then she's just going to arch it around and do the exact same thing to secure it on the other side, so you're left with a little loop for you to hang it on your wreath hanger or your command hook or wherever you want to hang this wreath.
So now that we have that hanger applied, we're going to put on that little piece of felt we cut out first, and we're going to cover up all our little secrets in the back, and I'm going to use some zip ties in order to secure it. And that way we won't have anything that will scratch your door or your wall or wherever you choose to hang this. So I'm going to cut a little hole with a knife, and then I'm going to put my first zip tie in just on that outer ring, and we're going to secure it very tightly. And we will continue to add zip ties all the way around the wreath until that little piece of felt is very tight and secured. Once I have all the zip ties in place, I'm going to cut off all the excess, and then I'm going to turn those little ends of the white zip tie into the center so you have nothing poking at your door. Then I'm going to do the final loof and floof, and this little baby's ready to go.
So that's it for this wreath tutorial. This one is all complete and ready to find a new home. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed to our channel so you don't miss any new videos.
Make sure you come back tomorrow for the next video in the 12 Days of Christmas video series.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Love you. Bye.
Okay, remember, look at that green dot up there.
Oh, up there.
Right there.
That's a little.
Very, very easy to put together. Why are you laughing? You have to look at the green dot. Don't be checking yourself out. Because you laughed at me.
Mm-hmm.
And look at that dot.
I'm trying to look at that dot.
Okay.
I'm not looking at the green dot.
Look at the green dot!